Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. EDDBUD here, and today it's once again long run shoe test time. Up on the test blocks today we have the Nike React Infinity Run Flyknit 2. So nice crisp air out there today in Yeovil town. 9 degrees Celsius with a brisk wind. Around about 14 miles an hour. It certainly felt like it. And it always seems to blow from the southwest as well, just to keep us runners in Somerset nice and cool. 12 miles today, or 19.3 kilometers in the Infinity Run Flyknit 2. Kept the pace around about 8 minutes 14 per mile average. That's about 5 minutes 7 per kilometre. So staying within that aerobic zone today. I knew I had some faster miles to do later in the day, so it's all about keeping things realistic early on the long run. Kept the heart rate around about 135 beats per minute, so it's right smack bang in the middle of my aerobic type zone, within my Garmin watch anyway, making sure that I didn't run myself into the ground. No pun intended. As I said, I did have that club run activity later in the day. It's like a relay, so I think we had over 45, maybe 48 I think it was, runners taking part, everybody running a 10-minute segment, so you had to try and run as far as you could in that 10 minutes. I wanted to perform well in that, so I did hold back a little bit on the long run. So over the miles today, the React Infinity Run Flyknit 2 certainly showed its true colours. Absolutely great upper lockdown on this shoe. They really have nailed it with this second version, a set and forget situation. Tied the shoes and hit the road. So I didn't have to adjust them, tinker with them, fool with them, or even do the mess around at all with the laces today. The material here does feel a little bit softer compared to the original version of the shoe. I think it's almost Christmas jumper-like in feel. Hugging, but not restrictive. It's certainly not coarse or rough either. It does feel nice and soft around your foot. And that back heel section even gave me a hint of plush feeling. Never had that before in a Nike shoe. Even like those Jordan 4s or the Jordan 5s or the Air Max I wouldn't suggest is plush. But in the heel, it certainly does feel like that here. The upper on the React Infinity Run Flyknit 2 is a little bit more generous than the previous version. But it's okay because we've got those fly wires and we can pull the laces in a hell of a lot better than we could in the first iteration of the shoe. There is a little bit of stretch in the Flyknit and you have to pull the laces in a little bit tighter than perhaps you would imagine, but the upper hug around the foot is sublime. It's kind of like the first version of the shoe was just one of those value mince pies that you can get, and the upper on this version is a Tesco finest. For those people in America who don't know what Tesco is, they used to produce a value range and then the finest, which were always that little bit better. The tongue here nicely cushioned. And there is a little detail I missed out on in my review. On the right side shoe it says 1972, and then on the left one it just has Nike stitched in there. So I've missed that out. Sorry guys. As I said, the padding on the tongue here is very welcome. I didn't feel the laces digging in at all to the top of my foot as I did in the Pegasus 37 or the original Zoom Fly. In fairness, this shoe now feels a little bit more like a cross between a Nike and the Saucony Triumph range. I used a runner's knot today in the shoe, which is made possible by the extra eyelets that they've put in. The midsole certainly gave me the cushion that I needed today for that long run. I've been concentrating this week on more miles at a slower pace, mainly due to the weather really. Just been very difficult to get out there and do some speed work with the high winds and the rain. So when you've got an issue like that, always turn it round, so make a positive out of the negatives. I mean, the rain was so bad at one point this week, coped with the wind, that I had to rearrange some of the tiles on the roof of the house. It was that bad. It's not something you want to be doing at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Around mile 5 I got into a nice rhythm with this shoe and the miles just floated by like a fairy. That React here in the midfoot is quite considerable. It doesn't really feel so dense or squashy that you feel like you're wallowing around sort of on top of it. The React foam seems to really enjoy that nicely maintainable pace. And I think perhaps many reviewers have compared it too quickly to Lunarlon and Cushlon that have been featured in previous Nike efforts. I think Nike's intended purpose for React foam is that daily durability, where the foam just stays consistent over a very large number of miles, just for easier paces really. There's only one shoe that's featured React and a carbon plate that worked really well for me at higher paces, and that was the Zoom Fly Flyknit. I mean, they got loads of other foams for high-paced kilometre cranking. I'm really enjoying this one, and its Cagoule-like brother, the Legend React 3 Shield. Nice to see some drier conditions out there today, and the outsole performed very well. That strange liquid-like rubber pattern here provides good traction that's really the aim of the game when you're out on a long run. Quite a few viewers have asked me about the stability features that are put into this shoe, but I've got to be honest, I don't really ever sense or feel that they're there, so can't really comment too much about those. If you have really sensed them and you feel they work really well, let me know in the comments below. I don't think this one's ever going to break any records for you. It's not really that sort of shoe. But I think it's a pretty solid offering for daily miles, and it really worked well for me on the long run today. I think it's all there really. A plusher feel, gallons of cushion, and a top drawer lockdown. Everything that you could want under your Christmas tree. It is the 20th of December when I'm recording this, so if you're watching it in the future sometime, that's why there's loads of Christmas related nods today. So after the long run, I had a couple hours of rest, and then it was back out to do that 10-minute challenge for the club. I pulled out the Reebok Run Fast Pro. My legs actually made me choose this shoe. I just wanted something nice and light and nimble, and you can't get much lighter than this one. I had 128 grams in my UK size 11. So I managed to cover just over 1.5 miles in the 10 minutes, an average pace of 6 minutes 36 seconds per mile. That equates to 4 minutes 06 per kilometre. Firmly in the threshold pace, and this shoe helped me keep a nice quick turnover. I really enjoyed the Pebax material underfoot as well. It's quite cushioned compared to React. I actually really enjoyed the 3mm drop here, running very quickly at threshold pace. It was quite a nice departure from that very sort of pillowy React cushion. Some nice spring from the Pebax here, and the grip absolutely top notch. Good to take part in another challenge, and also good to pull this shoe out and give it a quick test. If you've got any questions on either of the shoes in the video today, let me know in the comments below. A Christmas music recommendation today. I've been listening to the Run DMC track Christmas in Hollis. Now I believe Hollis is a part of Queens in New York, which I think is where Run DMC are from. I may be wrong about that, but from all the research I've done, I think that's right. This one's great. Starts off with sleigh bells. Gotta have sleigh bells. Then there's kind of like a scratched in version of jingle bells too. Some really cool horn stabs on this one, and some really brilliant beats. Always get good beats in a Run DMC track. I like how in the first verse the lyrics show that the guy found all this money, and it turns out it's Santa's cash. So he tries to return it to him, but then because he did a good deed, Santa gives it to him on Christmas. There's also a brilliant rhyme in there about Yule logs and eggnog. They even mix in bits of Frosty the Snowman later on as well. It really is a great track, a brilliant Christmas tune. Go check that one out, Run DMC, Christmas in Hollis. Okay, that's just about all for me for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in and sticking with me to the very end. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. And it does help the channel out a huge amount if you give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you